Imagine walking into your garden on a quiet morning, the air still cool, and the dew clinging to the leaves, and seeing your tomato plants, so heavy with fruit, that the branches are literally bowing toward the earth. We have all been there. That frustrating moment when you realize you have spent months watering, weeding, and worrying, only to end up with a handful of small, lackluster peppers or tomatoes that have those dreaded black rot patches on the bottom. It feels like a betrayal of all your hard work. But what if I told you that the secret to a professional-grade, overflowing harvest isn't sitting on a shelf at a big box garden center, but is actually tucked away in your pantry right now? Most people are shocked to learn that just 1 tablespoon of a common kitchen staple can outperform expensive, chemical-heavy fertilizers, saving you hundreds of dollars while keeping your soil and your family's food completely natural and safe. If you are ready to stop guessing and start growing the most productive garden of your life, using simple, household solutions, I would love for you to join our community by subscribing to the channel. It is a place where we strip away the fluff and get back to the practical, dirt under the fingernails wisdom that actually works. While you are clicking that button, please take a second to drop your location in the comments. Whether you are in a bustling city, a quiet village, or a sprawling farming district, we have gardeners and farmers tuning in from every corner of the globe, and seeing where you are growing helps me understand the different climates and soil types our community is working with. It is truly a beautiful thing to see how these simple remedies connect us all. From a small balcony in London to a vegetable farm in the heart of the Midwest, the biggest mistake I see people make is thinking that feeding a plant is a one-way street through the roots. But nature is much more sophisticated than that. Think about the last time you felt the rough, dusty texture of a leaf that's struggling. It's thirsty for more than just water. Your plants can actually take in nutrients through their leaves, their stems, and the tiny microorganisms living in the soil around them. Most gardeners throw away incredible resources every single day without realizing they are discarding liquid gold. One of the most powerful tools in my shed is actually sitting in your refrigerator right now. Plain old milk. You might have heard your grandmother mention it, and she was right. Milk is packed with calcium, and while we need it for our bones, plants need it to build the cell walls of their fruit. When you dilute 1 part whole milk with 9 parts water, you create a foliar spray that bypasses the slow root system and delivers calcium directly to the fruit where it is needed most. The logic is simple but brilliant. Blossom end rot. That heartbreaking black spot on tomatoes and peppers isn't usually caused by a lack of calcium in the dirt, but by the plant's inability to move it fast enough during a heat wave. By spraying this mixture onto your plants in the evening, after the harsh afternoon sun has dipped, you allow the leaves to drink in that calcium all night long. You'll want to add just 1 single drop of common, liquid dish soap to your spray bottle. This acts as a surfactant, making sure the milk sticks to the waxy surface of the leaf, instead of just rolling off like rain. For a small home gardener, a 300 milliliter spray bottle with about 30 milliliters of milk is plenty. If you are a farmer tending to an acre, you can scale this up using the same 1:9 ratio in a backpack sprayer. This doesn't just feed the plant, it creates a milk shield. The proteins in the milk make it very difficult for powdery mildew, that white, flour-like dust that kills cucumbers and squash, to take hold. I apply this once a week, and within 14 days, your leaves will look deeper green, almost waxy, and far more resilient. But we can't just focus on the top. We have to look at the soil, which should feel dark, crumbly, and alive between your fingers. Sometimes the soil gets tired, and the nutrients are locked away where the plant can't reach them. This is where a packet of active dry yeast from your baking drawer becomes your best friend. Yeast is a living organism, and when you wake it up, it wakes up the soil. To make this soil drench, take 1 7-gram packet of yeast and 1 tablespoon of white sugar, which acts as the fuel, and dissolve them in a liter of warm water. Make sure it's like bath water, not boiling, or you'll kill the yeast before it can start working. Let it sit for about 45 minutes until you see a thick, tan foam building on the top, and you can smell that rich, earthy fermentation. This concentrated life force is then mixed into 10 liters of plain water. For the home gardener, you'll want to pour about 1 liter of this bubbly mixture directly at the base of each plant every 2 weeks. For our medium-scale farmers, this is an incredibly cost-effective way to stimulate root growth across entire rows without the high cost of biological stimulants. Apply this in the morning as the sun begins to warm the earth, giving the yeast the perfect temperature to begin breaking down organic matter in the root zone. You will notice the difference in the stem strength first. They become thick and sturdy, like little tree trunks, capable of supporting the massive clusters of fruit that follow. It's like giving your soil a shot of pure energy. Just remember to avoid doing this during a record-breaking heat wave, as extreme soil temperatures can neutralize the yeast. Now, here is where it gets really interesting, and it's a step most people miss. Even with the best nutrients, your plants can lock up if the soil environment isn't balanced. This is where the humble box of baking soda comes in. You probably have an open box in the back of your fridge or under the sink. Baking soda, when used correctly, helps maintain the sweet spot for tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. Once a month, dissolve just 1 tablespoon of baking soda into a gallon of water and use it as a gentle drench. It's a tiny adjustment that ensures the milk and yeast you've been using can actually be absorbed by the plant. I've found that using this once every 30 days keeps the soil from becoming too acidic, which can happen if you are using a lot of organic compost. It's the finishing touch that brings the whole system into harmony. To get these results, you need a rhythm, a weekly schedule that mimics the natural cycles of growth. On the first Monday of the month, start with your yeast drench in the morning to get those roots moving. That Wednesday evening, follow up with your milk spray to protect the foliage and prevent rot. The second week, you skip the soil work and just do the milk spray on Wednesday evening. On the third week, you repeat the yeast drench on Monday and the milk spray on Wednesday, but you add the baking soda balance on Saturday morning. The fourth week is just a milk spray. It is a simple, 4-week loop that costs less than $5 for the entire season. When I tested this against a section of my garden where I used standard store-bought fertilizers, the results were staggering. My treated tomatoes produced over 30 fruits per plant, compared to barely 14 on the untreated ones. My peppers were thicker and heavier, and my cucumbers didn't die off in the middle of summer like they used to. You can hear the difference when you harvest. There is a certain snap to a healthy cucumber, and a weight to a tomato that tells you it's packed with minerals and juice. This isn't just about saving money, though that is a huge benefit for families and farmers alike. It's about taking control of your food and working with the natural systems that have been in place for thousands of years. You are not just a gardener, you are a steward of the land, whether that land is a few pots on a balcony or 5 acres of tilled soil. This Monday, I want you to head into your kitchen, grab that yeast and milk, and start this cycle. Your plants will start showing you the difference in their color and vigor within 7 days. And by the time harvest rolls around, you will be the one sharing these secrets with your neighbors. Thank you so much for spending this time with me in the garden today. It means the world to me that you've chosen to be part of this journey toward more natural, sustainable, and productive growing. If you found these tips helpful, please make sure you are subscribed so we can keep growing together. And don't forget to leave a comment with your location if you haven't already. Whether you are watching from a high-rise apartment with a few pots of herbs, or from the middle of a vast field of crops, this community is here to support you. I'm already working on the next video, where I'm going to show you a trick involving cinnamon that will completely change how you deal with pests and seed starting. So keep an eye out for that. Until next time, keep your hands in the dirt and your heart in the